Election 2024 is over. America has voted, and both sexism and racism have won the day. On Liberal Dan Radio, we will hold everyone accountable, from the media that failed to report the threat that Trump poses to this nation, to the people who supported him. We will pick up the mantle to educate the people about his actions, from being dictator on day one, pardoning January 6th domestic terrorists, implementing Project 2025, and any other draconian measures he tries to pass. And now, the resistance begins.
Oh my.
Radio, talking to the left, that's right. This is host Dan Zimmerman coming at you from New Orleans, Louisiana. To join the conversation later on, if we do open the phone lines, it'll be a 562-LIBDAN1. That's 562-542-3261 right now. I don't have the freaking thing open. Yeah, 3261. I was right. I've said it enough, I guess. I know it by now, right? If you heard the oh my between the two songs, it's because I saw Impeccable Living in the chat. Good to see you, Impeccable Living. There apparently is just enough time for an oh my between the two songs. So hey to Aaron, hey to Molly, Steve from across the pond.
If it's no Scottish, it's crap.
Jeff from just north of Uranus, Progressively Independent. I think that's all that has said hello in chat so far. Support the show. Remember to like the video, share, subscribe to the channel. I know all of y'all subscribe, but you know, get other people to subscribe, share videos, comment on videos, like videos, get the algorithm up. Algor needs more rhythm. We also, you can do super chat, super stickers here on YouTube. You can get bits on Twitch. You can gift memberships here on YouTube and subscriptions on Twitch. If you have Twitch and Amazon Prime, you can subscribe for free. It doesn't cost you anything. And you could also one-time Venmo, Liberal Dan on Venmo, buy me a cider, go to buymeacoffee.com/LiberalDanRadio, or go to liberaldan.com, click the Buy Me a Cider button. If you do it live during the show, you'll get a nice little notification up there saying that you contributed. Nothing will be as epic as the time when I was wondering when my first one would be, and as I was wondering, before Erin heard it, she bought me one, and that is actually somewhere on the channel as well, but it was very amusing and very much appreciated. But I appreciate all the help anybody does to help me spread the word, help the show out, etc. You can also become a Liberal Dan patron, patreon.com/LiberalDan or patreon.liberaldan.com. Either way gets you there as well. And that's another one of many ways to support the show. Good to see you, Mad Mac. Good to see you, One Vision. Hey, Michael. Thanks for joining in as well. Let's see what to talk about. Do I want to do the thing right now? I might want to wait a few more minutes. Let a few more people straggle in before y'all have to suffer. Let's see. I went to go see the Thunderbolts in the theaters, and it was really good. It was actually a movie that I was not planning on seeing in the movies. I was like, I don't know, do I really need to see that in the theaters? Do I really need to go? I don't know. And then the kids were like, we want to go. I'm like, fine, okay. Because I was fine just waiting for it to come on Disney Plus. I'm kind of glad I didn't, because it was a really good movie. It was like very, very, very well done. So anyway, so there's that. So recommend that. Let's see. My arm is like completely sore. This arm only because at the end of every bowling season, they do what's called a 9-pin no-tap tournament. After they give out the awards, thank you for being a Liberal Danimal, Progressively Independent. Thank you very much for that. Anyway, so after the awards are given out, and my youngest son, his team got third place in the league this year. Second season in a row that his team has gotten third place. And then both of my kids got perfect attendance in bowling, which is, I think, a really big, really big accomplishment for us, and maybe even just for me, simply because of the fact with everything that has been going on during this spring. This is the spring league, so it started back in January, back when Cassie had all her problems, and between then and now, the fact that they didn't miss a single week, I guess I did good, huh? But anyway, so 9-pin no tap. I have my own ball or whatever. Actually, we got Cassie wanted bowling shoes, and so she went ahead and bought some bowling shoes from somebody else off of Facebook Marketplace or something. But it came with a ball bag, and it came with a ball. Well, the ball was too heavy for her to use, but it was pretty much perfectly weighted for me. It just didn't have the correct fingers because Bonnie, the owner, and the reason I know it's Bonnie is because my ball says Bonnie. It has Bonnie written on it. So I've now named my ball Bonnie. I don't know what my other ball's name. Anyway, so hey, it's the Goddess Kimchi. Good to see you, Goddess, and Jackie and Roxanne. Who else? Wait, what is Kimchi? You, Jeff. You better hug me if we ever meet in person. I'm telling you. If I get all the way up to Uranus and I don't get a hug from you. Now, Kimchi, it might not have to do with anything. Have to do with the fact that his masculinity. It might just simply just have to do with that. Maybe he doesn't like Scotsmen. I don't know.
If it's no Scottish, it's crap.
Anyway, so anyway, so back to the bowling story while people straggle on in. Yeah, so I hadn't bowled in a very long time, and I had actually bowled even more than 2 games. The last time we did the 9-pin no tap, I only did 2 because my knees were hurting. I have new knee braces that I got off of Amazon, and well, they're much better, and they helped me go through all 3 games. But now, 2 days later, my my Bonnie balls sound Scottish. Well, that's right. My balls are Bonnie. At least one of my balls is Bonnie, and
if it's no Scottish, it's crap.
there you go. Anyway, so I actually beat everybody in the. Anyway, before I say what happened. So 9-pin no tap basically is just regular bowling, except if on the first ball, if you roll a 9, it counts it as a strike as well. Let's just give an example of what happened last time we tried it. I started bowling. I actually bowled 5 strikes in a row at the beginning. I was like, what the hell's going on? This is amazing. And that was last time. And I ended up bowling a 265 in 9-pin no tap, which is good, but of course that's counting strikes as 9s. But when I went back and looked at my score and did the recalculation and was like, oh, if you only count the strikes as 9s and rescore it that way, I actually ended up getting a 206. So I would have gotten at least a 206, even more if I would have finished off some of the spares. So it was my best bowling game ever. I didn't do that this time, but I did still bowl I think a 240 something and then a 20 something and then a 160 something, and because my arm was getting tired, but tired and sore are 2 different things, and now it's just trying to do anything with his arm today has just been miserable. So yeah, but at least I'm getting in some whatchamacallit, some exercise. So. And there you go, 250 kilo. I was waiting for somebody to say it.
Oh my.
And can't do motions with my arm. I was waiting for somebody. That was a pretty softball just to lob up there, and you got it. So there you go. Shouts out to 250 kilo ohm over in the Twitch stream. I'm glad you did stop by and switch over to YouTube when Twitch decided to be broken last week. Who knows? At least it's not as broken as much as Blog Talk Radio was, right? So it is. I've got about 20 people watching now, so that's good. So, let me tell a story, and this is a story from a long, long time ago because it pertains to the Gulf of Mexico. Anyway, so a while ago, there were 3 ships that were traveling across the ocean and were trying to make it to the New World, and one ship carried ketchup, and one ship carried mustard, and one ship carried mayonnaise. So as it was going across the New World, it was making its way into the Gulf of Mexico, and then it was actually heading to the coast of Mexico itself when the ship with all the ketchup landed fine. The ship with all the mustard landed fine, but there was some bad storm or whatever that it did not make it through, and the ship carrying the mayonnaise couldn't quite make it and sank to the bottom of the Gulf. And this is about the first week of May, which is why every May we celebrate Cinco de Mayo. Anyway, so that's my favorite joke to tell every May 5th. If you're personal friends with me on Facebook, you've seen that one already, but, I just love telling that joke. Of course, everybody, gringifies up Mexican culture in order to celebrate Cinco de Mayo. Of course, there was one Mexican restaurant that was near where I lived when I was going to Tulane University down here, and they were having a Cinco de Mayo celebration, but they were always going to be closed. They're always closed on Mondays. And that particular year, Cinco de Mayo fell on a Monday. So their sign outside their restaurant said, "Come to Veracruz and enjoy Cinco de Mayo on May 3rd. You'd think if you're going to make a big deal about the one holiday, annually where you celebrate, Mexican food and eating tacos, and when it falls on a Tuesday, it's even better because then Cinco de Mayo is Taco Tuesday. But, you'd think that you'd make an exception and be open that one day. But no, Cinco de Mayo celebration, May 3rd. And if that ain't the most gringo thing you ever heard of, I don't know what is. So let's get cracking, start talking about the show. Probably going to record a bunch of small videos today and upload them, and then start uploading the last videos that I haven't uploaded from the previous ones, especially the one from last time with Stephanie Rule, where it's still a long-ass video. I might even have to chop that one up into bits and pieces because that I was all riled up over all the stuff she had to say, and not in a good way. So, let's see, arguing with world idiots controlled by oligarchs. Yeah, unfortunately, that's too much truth right there. So anyway, let's just go ahead and do that for a second. Do this, blah, blah, blah. And let's go ahead. So one of the things, from between, I guess, shows that we found out about was, or at least, I don't know if this was before the last show or not, but Amazon.com was wanting to share some information on their website. They were wanting to share some information about whether or not what was involved in the price of your good that was tariff. So if you paid the price of the good, they were going to tell you that this amount of your price is the tariff. Now they tell you this amount of the price is tax, and boom, boom, boom. This is tax, this is whatever, this is tariff, and they're going to show that. Good. I mean, I'm not opposed to that whatsoever, but apparently the Trump administration is opposed to that.
Sean, go
Hi,
ahead.
Mr. Secretary. So it was reported this morning that Amazon will soon display a little number next to the price of each product that shows how much the Trump tariffs are adding to the cost of each product. So isn't that a perfect, crystal clear demonstration that it's the American consumer and not China who is going to have to pay for these policies?
I will take this since I just got off the phone with the president about Amazon's announcement. This is a hostile and political act by Amazon. Why didn't
It's a hostile and political act to be honest with your consumers. Oh no. I mean, if that isn't the most Trump administration thing to say ever, it's hostile and a political act to tell the consumers how much they're paying or their good has raised in price because of the tariff caused by this administration. That is just the most accurate Trump thing ever.
Amazon do this when the Biden administration hiked inflation to the highest level in 40 years? And I would also...
The price of inflation, though, is something that is... But doesn't necessarily affect all goods and services, but it's not necessarily done by a specific tariff or specific added tax. I guess the geniuses in the White House don't quite understand that, but we here at Liberal Lane Radio do.
So add that it's not a surprise because, as Reuters recently wrote, Amazon has partnered
Amazon.
With a Chinese propaganda arm. So this is another reason why Americans should buy American. It's another reason why we are onshoring critical supply chains here at home to
And just wait. Just wait. Hold on.
shore up our own critical supply chain and boost our own manufacturing here.
I
Hi,
don't
Mr. Secretary.
believe
So
you.
it was
I don't believe you. You are a bunch of liars. Why? Because, you know, you're not going to be able to get the supply chains fixed that quickly. That's not going to happen. We're going to see empty ships at the ports. I think we've already started to see some empty ships at the ports. We're going to see supply chains dwindling. We're going to see a lot of harm. And even the Trump administration, between it saying, oh, we're going to onshore stuff, we're going to do all this stuff that's great for America, we're going to build things here, buy American, yay! But all of that's going to take time and effort, and then your prices are going to go up anyway because the cost to produce here probably is much higher with many items, as it would be, you know, if we continue to import those things. So, I mean, come on. And then you have the situation where they are wanting to now put a tariff on movies that are made outside the country. So now that's Trump's new idea because, you know, he's teamed up with like the three conservative people who he likes in Hollywood, including John Voight, I think it is. And yeah, so places, you know, they film things all over the world. Like, you know, this particular last movie that I saw, you know, the Thunderbolts. You know, some of it was filmed in Georgia and Atlanta, and some of it was filmed in Canada, and some of it was filmed other places too. So what, are they going to bits and pieces, like, oh, this part of the film you have to pay a tariff on, but this part of the film you don't have to pay a tariff on? People are going to be mad. You know, the thing about, you know, before, you know, you distract the populace with bread and circuses, right? You're supposed to distract the populace with bread and circuses. If it's the circuses are going to cost more because the circus in this case are the movies that people want to go watch and get a break from everything. And if they're now going to have to pay even more money for a movie that was filmed, at least in part, in other countries, they're not going to be distracted by the horrible things that you're doing. They're going to be pissed off at the things that you're doing, and they're going to get a bigger example of it. You know, then, you know, with the bread, and prices of eggs have not gone down. Donald Trump seems to think that the price of eggs has gone down, but it hasn't. And there's many, many more things that are going to be, you know, costing more money. But yet, Donald frickin' Trump tells the young girls that they can't have more than 2 dolls. You can't have more than 2 dolls if you're, I guess, a young girl in Trump's world. I'm sure his children probably had access to all the dolls that they wanted. But you're young. Now let's hear what he has to say on
the
this.
tariffs. And I want to ask you about something you said this week. Got a lot of attention. You were at your cabinet meeting. You said, quote, I'm going to quote what you said, maybe the children will have 2 dolls instead of 30 dolls. Yeah. And maybe the 2 dolls will cost a couple of bucks more than they would normally. Are you saying that your tariffs will cost?
First of all, I don't understand that math. I don't understand the math there. If it's a couple of bucks more for the dolls, then it doesn't make sense that you'd only be able to get 2 if it's just a couple of bucks more. You know, you should maybe at least get 5 or 6, right? But, you know, no one's ever accused Donald Trump of being good at math. At least no one who has a brain has ever accused Donald Trump of being good at math.
Cause some prices to go up.
No, I think the tariffs are going to be great for us because it's going to make us rich.
But you said some dolls are going to cost more. Isn't that an acknowledgement that some prices will go up?
I don't think a beautiful baby girl that's 11 years old needs to have 30 dolls.
What is it your business how many dolls a child has or doesn't have? And why are you being sexist too to suggest that it's only girls that are going to not have dolls or have less than 30 dolls or whatever? And why do you think people have 30 dolls? I mean, I don't know how many kids you know Probably not a lot, except for maybe the ones you met through Jeffrey Epstein. How many you got $30 for Christmas? I didn't get 30 of anything. Any holiday, be it Christmas gifts or Hanukkah gifts or whatever. So the idea of $30 just goes to show how Donald Trump's mind is just not able to actually fathom what regular people go through. I mean, assuming that his mind works, which it doesn't. But anyway, let's continue with Trump's ramblings.
I think they can have $3 or $4 because what we were doing with China was just unbelievable. We had a trade deficit of hundreds of billions of dollars with China.
When you say they could have $3 instead of $30, are you saying
they don't need
Americans
$30.
could see?
I'm saying they don't need it. I'm not wanting to admit to you that you're right, that, because the dolls are going to cost more so the children will be able to afford less. And the reason that the dolls are going to cost more and the families will be able to afford less is because of the tariffs.
Store shelves?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they don't need to have $30. They can have 3. They don't need to have 250 pencils. They can have 5.
But
it's just so stupid. Like, how anybody with a brain can continue to listen to this guy, believe what this guy says, because even MSNBC has him backed into a corner. Or NBC News, I guess in this case, has him backed into a corner right here, shockingly.
You're basically saying there could be some supply shortages because of the tariffs.
We don't have to waste money on a trade deficit with China for things we don't need, for junk.
Why do you get to tell people what they need and what they don't need? I don't think you need Bedminster and Mar-a-Lago and all the other properties that you own. I don't think you need that. I'm sure you wouldn't like anybody coming to you and having government tell you you don't get to have all of those properties. You don't need all of those properties. We're going to take them, or we're going to prevent you from having that many. You would cry. I don't think Donald Trump has ever cried in his life, but if you snatched Mar-a-Lago and Bedminster away from this crook because he doesn't need them, then he would go crying home to whomever. Maybe to Ivanka. I don't know. Maybe he'd find a new bride to replace Melania with and then go cry to her. Who knows? Maybe he'll go find somebody else to cheat on a wife with somebody else and then cry to her as well. I don't know. He can have one in every home. It's just absurd that these people are still following him, that these people are still supporting him, that these people can't see what a fool he is. Now, do you still agree with Donald Trump's tariffs? Do you somehow, can you manufacture a way as a Trump supporter, if you're watching this afterwards, after I post this video, can you somehow manufacture a way that Donald Trump isn't admitting that the price of dolls are going to go up so people will be able to afford less dolls or fewer dolls? He's saying he's not saying that, but he's saying it. So I challenge any MAGA, any person who still supports this idiot as president. I challenge you. Find this clip on YouTube. If you haven't found it, or if you're watching this on somewhere else, find the shorter clip of this. Make your comments in the video. Let us know. How can you possibly square that circle? Because I want to know. I don't think it's possible, but I'm giving you the opportunity to prove me wrong. And if you can prove me wrong, I'll admit that I'm wrong. So go ahead, leave your comments down below. Remember to like the video, share, subscribe to the channel, and of course, unless you're a Nazi or believe that government should tell you how much toys you should have a good day. Anyway, so there's that. And there's, of course, more BS to talk about. Let us pull this head and open it up. The Donald Trump administration is trying to find different ways to convince people to self-deport. That was, I guess, a big thing that Romney said, and I guess Donald Trump's going to try and do it better. So what, pray tell, does Donald Trump have to say about this? in our company. Again, Donald Trump doesn't know he's not running a company. He's running a country into the ground. But, you know, he's still in charge of a country, not a company. You know, for those of you who still think that Donald Trump doesn't have any brain incapacities whatsoever. Kafefi, Hamburger, Cheeburger, all the other BS he says. United States. So there you go. There's Donald Trump. Oh, there you go. Actually, we'll start that again, I guess, because I inadvertently muted it, and I didn't want to have it muted. I thought I unmuted it, but there you go. Let's start over again, shall we? So, let's do it this way then. Donald Trump is trying to figure out new ways to get people to be deported, and now he wants them to self-deport, and he's trying to offer them money to self-deport. Let's see what he has to say, shall we?
But what we thought we'd do is a self-deport, where we're going to pay each one a certain amount of money, and we're going to get them a beautiful flight back to where they came from, and they have a period of time. And if they make it, we're going to work with them so that maybe someday, with a little work, they can come back in if they're good people, if they're the kind of people that we want in our company, industrious people that could...
The people that we want in our company. If they're the kind of people that we want in our company. We don't have a company. We have a country, you dumbass. But yeah, Donald Trump is all, you know, oh, we want them to self-deport. We want them to self-deport. We're gonna get them. We'll give them $1,000, and we'll give them a beautiful, wonderful plane ticket. I'm sure it's not a plane ticket. I'm sure they're gonna load them onto a C-130 or something like that. But here's the thing that I have to question. For anybody who thinks that this is a great idea from Donald Trump, what idiot in their right mind, after seeing all of the stuff that Donald Trump's administration has done when it comes to deporting people, some of those who were mistakes, accidents, or whatever, you know, we've seen that he doesn't believe that people should have due process. We've seen that he doesn't believe that he should have to fix any of the mistakes that he made, or that his administration made, that he's not bringing back Garcia from El Salvador, despite the fact that he was ordered by the courts to do so, despite the facts that the courts prohibited this country from deporting him specifically to El Salvador. But he doesn't care. You got the hairdresser or makeup artist or whatever that was deported that shouldn't have been deported. He's deporting citizens who are children who are, you know, dealing with brain cancer. And you can't trust this administration at all. So why the hell would anybody believe that this president would make good with the promise that he would give you $1,000 if you self-deport? Why are you gonna? It'd be like, you know, hey, come here, you won the lottery, and you show up to the room, and all of a sudden, when each time you go into the room, they arrest you because you didn't really win the lottery. They had a warrant out for your arrest. So that's how the cops sometimes will fool you and fool people into thinking that, hey, you know, they're going to get some quick cash. And in reality, no, what they're doing is getting arrested because they had a warrant for your arrest. But in this case, it's not people who are criminals. Some of them might be, but it's not people who are, you know, criminals who are going to just be swept up here. It's anybody who he deems to be somebody who's not wanted, including people that we've already shown that he is willing to deport people who are here legally and bar entry to this country from people who are here legally. Why would anybody trust? You cannot trust this person whatsoever. And if you do believe that you're going to get $1,000 after getting shipped off to some other country, well, you can use that $1,000 and buy a bridge from me. You know, it'd be a good investment. Because that's how much of a fool you are. Agree with me that believing that Donald Trump will give you $1,000 is, you know, a foolhardy thought? Or do you think that Donald Trump will make good on his offer? Leave your comments down below. Remember to like the video, share, subscribe to the channel. Of course, unless you're a Nazi, have a good day. What's up, Dave? Good to see you. See, Suzanne, this would be hilarious on a big screen. What do you think about it? I don't know. What would have been hilarious? I don't know. Would just Trump over me? Like Trump's head over my head or whatever? I don't know. Yes, we want people to have a hearing. And of course, he doesn't think that people should have a hearing, but that's because he doesn't think. So, MAGA will just obfuscate the answer. So why I'm asking MAGA anything is a waste of time. Yeah, but if they comment on the videos, it helps the algorithm, right? So we're bound to get some who come in, you know, and as the show expands and gets more people and gets more hits and traffic or whatever, we're bound to get more. So I will give them a challenge and see and watch them fail miserably. Right? So let's see what else. What else did we want to bring up today? Excuse me. To Evie's aunt, Trump and ICE hate the 4th and 5th Amendments of the Constitution. You can just leave out the 4th and 5th parts, or 4th and 5th Amendments. Just Trump and ICE hate the Constitution. Like, that's it. They hate the Constitution. Doesn't matter what amendment it is. It doesn't matter what part it is. They just all hate the Constitution. Period. With a T at the end. 1,000 is like a grandpa offering a nickel to go away because it's nap time. Especially to him, right? So anyway, so what's the... Of course, there's the next thing. We have yet another Trumpian genius-y thing here. Let's watch what Donald Trump has to say here, shall we?
How did you decide to reopen Alcatraz? Can you walk us through that decision?
Did I say what?
To reopen Alcatraz, how will you use it? How did you come up with the idea?
Well, I guess I was supposed to be a movie maker. We started with the movie making and we'll end. I mean, it represents something very strong, very powerful in terms of law and order. Our country needs law and order. Alcatraz is...
Says the 34-time convicted felon that we need law and order. Says the person who pardoned people and dropped the sentences of people who attacked police officers. It's a symbol of law and order. This guy is obsessed with prisons. First of all, I thought he was going to send the homegrowns to El Salvador. Is he changing his mind on that one too, I guess? But yeah, he wants to frickin' reopen Alcatraz.
I would say the ultimate, right? Alcatraz, Sing Sing and Alcatraz, the movies. But
the movies, I love the movies, and everything should be like a movie. Because that's what I am. Unbelievable. Fiction. This should be a fictional presidency. No one would believe this if they were reading about it outside this, planet. But yeah. How much money is that going to take? To just completely refurbish and redo Alcatraz and then have it be open and, house whomever you want to house there, which I'm sure won't just be the worst of the worst. It'll probably be the, political prisoners. But yeah. Like, aren't we supposed to not be wasting money? Why is refurbishing Alcatraz a priority to you? Again, it's just more distractions, more BS, more ways for him to show himself to be a hypocrite, both on still claiming to be law and order. When you're a lawless president, you ignore the Constitution, you ignore Supreme Court and other judicial orders meant to, be a check on your power, because we have 3 co-equal branches of government that provide checks and balances of everyone else. And you don't understand that because you in another interview was like, I was the same interview I think as we showed before, just a different part of it. You basically don't know if you need to follow the Constitution, despite the fact that you swore an oath. I'm surprised you didn't burn up instantly with having your hand on a Bible after you told such a lie, but you swore an oath to uphold the Constitution. And now guess what? He doesn't want to follow the he claims to not even know that if he has to follow the Constitution or not. How can you be president of these United States and not know that you have to follow the Constitution of the United States? The man's an idiot. He is an absolute buffoon and a moron that a whole bunch of people in this country thought would be a good idea. And more of them are finding out, but not quickly enough. But I'm sure once the full effect of these tariffs hit, once you start having to pay double to go, watch a movie at the AMC theater or wherever you go see a movie, once that happens, more and more people are going to start complaining. That's not what I voted for. No, it is what you voted for. You voted for an idiot who doesn't understand how to run any sort of business or a country. So, anyway, what do you think? Agree, disagree? Leave your comments down below. Remember to like the video, share, subscribe, and of course, unless you're a Nazi, have a good day. We got Chad in the chat. Well, first of all, Jan, thank you very much, Jan, for gifting 10 Liberal Dan Radio subscriptions. 10 more people are Liberal Danimals because of your generosity, so thank you so much for that. Oh, Chad got the gift, and Steven, John Deff, Robert Reynolds, Val's in a Van, Brenda. It's a bunch of people who have been here regularly who do it. So thank you very much, Kimchi. So what did Chad then say? I think I missed. Let's see. After his term is up, will he flee the country when his self-pardon fails? I don't know. Will his self-pardon fail? I mean, whether or not he can self-pardon is a topic that some have debated. And, I think a self-pardon is likely to be deemed more constitutional than, say, the idea of him trying to run for office for a third term, although because I think certain things were inartfully written, you never know. And of course, you never know what the Supreme Court is going to say if they remain beholden to him on various things. Fortunately, they're standing up to some things, but maybe that's by design. Maybe that's something that they want to have happen. Because, maybe they want to say, oh, we're standing up for Trump against these things. And maybe Trump's like, look, stop me in these things, but let me do these things and we'll be good. So VD Hertz, when Alcatraz closed, it cost 300% more to incarcerate a prisoner than the next expensive prison. Trump's an idiot. Yep. Don't forget, he was found liable for sexual abuse is the correct words to say. Yeah, he was not found guilty in a court of law, although he admitted it on the Access Hollywood tapes and then in his deposition that wealthy people, including him, can walk up at people and grab them by the hoo-ha. So he fully admitted doing it twice, which just goes to show how much of a moron he is, because at the deposition he had the opportunity to say, it was just locker room talk. I don't really believe that. I believe that people should have the right to their own body autonomy. I'm sorry. I can't even say that with a straight face while voicing a bad Donald Trump impression. But yeah, he admitted it, but he doubled down on it and said, "Yep, that's what we could do. That's what rich people could do." To VD Hertz, where would the prison workers live? 100 miles away. The land surrounding the bay is where the billionaires live. Yep. He doesn't think about those things. He doesn't think about anything. He doesn't measure twice before cutting. Even frickin' Joe Rogan understands that. And if he can understand it, there's no reason why anybody else should be able to should not be understanding it. Chad says, in all fairness, they only delayed sentencing on his conviction because you can't appeal ruling sentences. Once an appeal, everyone knows the felonies will be dismissed. This way they can call felon 4 years while president. I don't. They should have started it earlier. They should have started it earlier, and as such, he might have actually gotten the sentencing. So, hey, Leanna Geyer, good to see you. Trump did not put his hand on the Bible this time when he swore no. Oh, really? I thought he always liked using the Lincoln Bible or whatever, because Lincoln used it and he used it, thus tainting it. Doesn't The Rock only have a few hundred cells? It doesn't matter what The Rock... Sorry. If you're a wrestling fan, I don't know how many current cells. Let's see. We can search that up quickly. How many cells did Alcatraz have? 336 standard cells, along with 42 solitary confinement cells. There were also 36 segregation cells and 6 solitary confinement cells in the D block. So that's what AI tells us, at least. Let's see, just keep on scrolling. Yeah, if there isn't anywhere reasonable within 100 miles of Alcatraz to live for a prison worker. Let's see, didn't the warden and his family live on the grounds of Alcatraz? It may have. I don't know. Let's see, who owns Alcatraz? I don't know. Who? Probably, I think the National Park Service runs it. Alcatraz is owned by the United States federal government. It is operated by the National Park Service as a tourist destination as part of the Golden Gate National Recreation Area. Let's see, only in New York, anywhere else, rape, but it has a thing. He wasn't guilty. It wasn't a criminal case. It was a civil case. He was found civilly liable for sexual abuse, which the judge specifically said that you could still call that rape. The judge even referred to that as rape. But Donald Trump wants to say, oh, you can't call it rape or I'm going to sue you. Well, you know, colloquially speaking, if you're talking about sexual assault, if you're talking about, you know, sexual abuse, if you're talking about rape, it's pretty much all the same, you know, general concept of violating someone's consent. So, and the thing that was crazy is like, oh, he wasn't found civilly liable for rape. He was only found civilly liable for sexual abuse, as if that makes it better. Sometimes, you know, they want to clearly show you that they're part of the group of the poorly educated that Donald Trump said he claims to love after the 2016 Nevada primaries. Let's see, when you're starving, a McDonald's hamburger from a dumpster is a blessing. I guess that's true. Kim Jong-Trump probably thinks the Bible is beneath him or something. Well, I mean, he made the Trump Bible and he put the Declaration of, you know, Independence and the Constitution in the front for reasons. Thank you, Chad, for the $10 super chat. Appreciate you. Let's see. I think Melanoma has a literal stack of Bibles, and he didn't even touch one of them. He can remodel it, and his administration will be part of the tour, and MAGA fans will fund the entire National Park Service. Hell, just house him there. That would be great if you rebuilt Alcatraz during the Trump administration, and then he stops being president, and then that's where you decide to go lock him up. Would be Alcatraz. That would be great. That'd be wonderful. Nothing would be better. Nothing would make me happy. Well, some things might make me happier, but you know, so creating stories in a world where the fear of retaliation is real. One president will screw over everybody. Anyway, the New York law at the time only considered rape by penal. I understand that, but you know, it's still colloquially saying, when people say Donald Trump raped somebody, that they usually encompasses the idea of sexual assault. And that's why his, you know, trying to claim defamation, because you said I raped and I only was found civilly liable for sexual abuse. Yeah. Good job there, buddy. Way to hold that line. Let's see. And good to see you, Big Hook. I don't know if I said hello, Big Hook, but hello. And Robin, good to see you, Stephanie as well. Anybody else who I have not said hello to, hello. Roxanne, good to see you. Let's see what else we wanted to talk about. Oh, there's these two stupid things. Let's talk more stupidity, shall we? Let's talk more stupidity in the Trump administration, or by Trump in general. So first and foremost, there's this one. Pope Trump. Of course, he made the joke about being it earlier, and Lindsey Graham made the comment about it. But there's the AI-created Pope Trump posted to Donald Trump's own Truth social media account. Now, any of you MAGA folks out there who want to try and say that you would have not shit bricks had Biden done something like this, I don't believe you. Had Biden done this, y'all be crying foul. Y'all be saying, why the liberals hate religion so much? They hate Christianity is under attack because of the liberals, blah, blah, blah. Right? That's what they would do. Because that's what they say all the time. But no. When Donald Trump does it, oh, he's just doing it to own the libs. So therefore being, I guess, sacrilegious and doing something that would never happen, like this, that's okay, right? Furthermore, whoever nerds the Trump administration has hired in this, that looks funny. I am Darth Trump. Do it. I am Emperor Trump. I have my red lightsaber. Anyway, but yeah, happy May the 4th to all, including the radical left lunatics who are fighting so hard to bring Sith Lords, murderers, drug lords, dangerous prisoners, and well-known MS-13 gang members back into our galaxy. You're not the rebellion, you're the empire. May the 4th be with you. Says the administration, and they put the damn red lightsaber in his hand. For all of you who are not nerds, don't know, the lightsabers become red because they bleed the kyber crystals, in a way that's unnatural, and that's how they get the red color in their lightsabers. And the people who do that are the Sith themselves. People who are part of the dark side are the ones who run around with red lightsabers. Just goes to show, again, another example of every conservative accusation ends up being a confession. But I at least can appreciate the honesty of the picture. Even if they're not honest about the actual, text in it and think that hey, we're bringing people back into the galaxy. What? And the fact that, he thinks we're trying to bring in Sith Lords. What? No. Y'all are the Sith Lords. And I appreciate the fact that you were at least somewhat honest by showing Trump having the color lightsaber that he would hold if he had force powers, if he was a force sensitive individual, because he would absolutely be holding a red lightsaber and not another color. Definitely not a purple one. Anyway, what do you think? Do you like Donald Trump's whole attempts to be, edgy and owning the libs or whatever? Or do you think he's a sack of crap for doing it? Leave your comments down below. Remember to like the video, share, subscribe, and unless you're a Nazi or a Sith Lord, have a good day. What's up, Kevin? Good to see you. Thank you for joining. But yeah, Donald Trump, a frickin' Sith Lord. I really don't want these, I mean, I wouldn't want the tariffs on the movies anyway, but I really don't want them because they just got done filming the Voltron movie with Henry Cavill. And I love Voltron, and my wife loves Henry Cavill. So it's a movie that we would both want to go to. And so, yeah. She was very thirsty for the last Superman. Not the upcoming one, but the last one. Said Roxanne, he needs to give that body back. Well, I mean, artificial intelligence is artificial for a reason, right? There is nothing intelligent about that. Yes, I know, Robin. Sith Lords are fiction. Or actually, I should say, don't tell me that. I want to have the Force. I want to be a Jedi. Like my father before me. I miss Dark Brandon. Yes, Dark Brandon should come back. Let's see. Let's see what I was going to say. Although there is what happened with my son, how my son actually believes that his father is Darth Maul, and I'm his daddy. Who's your dad? He'll point to me. Who's your father? Darth Maul. The reason why is because Henry was conceived, and when we at Disney World we brought home a souvenir, and the only day that that possibly could have happened was the day that we actually met Darth Maul, i.e. Ray Park, the actor and stunt person who played like Toad on the X-Men films, and Darth Maul, and in Phantom Menace. Yeah, so we got to meet him. He was a very nice guy, but you know, we didn't wait in line with my son earlier in the day. It was just me and two of my other friends, and we got the last tickets for the morning session to be able to have the meet and greet and take pictures with him. So we got to take the pictures with him, and he was like, "Oh, you want your son to come take a picture?" I was like, "Is that okay?" "Yeah, fine." And he was super nice about it, picked him up, got him there. Very cool. And then later on that day, he had a little martial arts, you know, thing where he showed off, you know, training other kids, and is really good with the kids. And here's this muscular guy, British accent, very good with kids, attractive, and everybody was just like, just like sighing over the fact that, you know, here's this specimen of a man that none of the other guys who were in that room probably could ever live up to, at least physically. And so that just happened to be the night when he was conceived. So we always joke around that Darth Maul was his father, and of course Henry picked it up and ran with it. So there you go. Party on, Darth. Yeah. See, it makes Kim Jong Trump looks like an even bigger buffoon. Yep. One vision I've been known to do a little bass fishing. What's your favorite? It's one of my two favorite shows. What's your other one? Bassmasters. What movie is that from? Let's see. But yeah, the whole idea that they think that they're the rebellion is just laughable. I mean, if there was ever an Emperor Palpatine that ever became president, that's him. Because, you know, the other people actually liked democracy and having a democratically elected Senate. And it was Palpatine, the Emperor, who turned it from the Galactic Republic to the Galactic Empire. Spoiler alert! I think it's probably well too late to say spoiler alert on that one. So, let's see, Kevin, you play pickleball? What does your wife say about the Darth Maul thing? She was one of the people just drooling over him multiple times. First when we were in line and got to meet him, and then also when we saw him doing his little karate expo, teaching kids how to you know, do a couple of karate moves, and, you know, being just all around, you know, great with kids person. So yeah, she was like, yeah, he was hot. That's fine. I don't care. You know, people are allowed to think other people are hot without it being a negative thing. So, trying to see what else. I don't think we're going to have too long of a show today, though, simply because of the fact that I got through all of that stuff that I wanted to get through. I do also have to upload a whole bunch of stuff. I'm also tired. Wasn't feeling very well for the most of the day because I did, again, I overdid it food-wise, and my stomach was just today. So I just kind of wanted to get a couple of those things out and then maybe work on doing some other videos as well. But, I mean, if anybody else has anything else they want to talk about in the chat. Timu Palpatine, yes, exactly. Timu Palpatine is exactly dead on balls accurate. Did anybody guess the movie that I made the reference from? Bassmasters. True, better to be honest about hotness. I mean, you know, she finds different people hot in different ways. You know, when I was arguing with the T-Mobile people about why I shouldn't lose my phone number, and I was like being very stern and direct with them and standing up for them and just, you know, owning them over and over and over again, she was posting on Facebook like, my husband's really hot right now because he's, you know, telling the people what's what. So, you know, hotness comes in all different sizes and shapes and forms or what have you. So I had my son about to jump in here half naked, so good thing he didn't, because that would not be a good thing to see on YouTube. Let's see. Trying to see what else I might have missed. Yes, thank you. Become a Liberal Dan patron. Patreon.com/LiberalDan or Patreon.LiberalDan.com. Either way, get you there. Again, Venmo, Liberal Dan, Buy Me a Cider. Go to LiberalDan.com, click the Buy Me a Cider button, or go to buymeacoffee.com/LiberalDanRadio. Subscriptions, bits, super chats, super stickers, etc. All different ways to support the show. Two things real quick, though, before we move on. First things first is that tomorrow, if for anybody who would stop by the Nerdy Dan stream, I may start the Nerdy Dan stream a little late because I have coupons for a restaurant that's typically expensive and that my wife wants to go to, hasn't been to in a while, and they expire at the end of the week. And tomorrow's the only day I could be able to get the reservation and make it work, because I couldn't do it. I don't think I could do it Friday for some reason. Definitely couldn't do it Thursday because of my writing class. And there's a reason I can't do it Wednesday. That's because Wednesday at 7 p.m. my time, they're re-releasing or just re-showing a Monty Python and the Search for the Holy Grail. So that will be at 7 p.m. and will last until whenever it lasts. And then I'll come home, and then I will start Liberal Dan Radio later that day. So just to let you know, I don't know what particular time Nerdy Dan will start tomorrow or Liberal Dan Radio will start Wednesday night. However, both will probably be later, and Liberal Dan Radio will probably be later. So anyway, just to let y'all know, give you an FYI, I'll try and post it and remind people on Blue Sky, on YouTube, on Facebook, etc. Just to let people know. So anyway, I think that's about it. That's pretty much all I want to talk about. So let's go ahead. We will abruptly end on Twitch as normally because I don't have a good music to end on both. However, we will end on YouTube normally. So thank you all very much for watching. Appreciate you for giving us briefly a short show, but hopefully I'll have more videos posted that you can share with your friends and let them know how awesome Liberal Dan Radio is, right? Anyway, thank you so much. Have a good night. Peace.
No one is above the law in this country.